And we're back. So yeah, we have this incredible cast of characters on their way to this private island. Um, a number of them are already well-known actors. We have John Leguizamo, but he's not playing. Is he playing himself? I think so. It just says movie star and under the credits, and he's there with his assistant, quasi lover, somewhat lover. Felicity, played by Amy Carrero. We have food critics of Janet McTeer, who her character's name is Lillian, and her companion Ted. Ted is very fashionable and very agreeable. I loved his character, played by Paul Alderstein. Alderstein. Sorry, you know me and names, so forgive me. We also have an eclectic pairing here of they look like Bitcoin people or something like that. I want to say, I believe they also do work for certain restaurants. I think it's more on the financial perspective of the restaurant business. So we have Soren, played by Arturo Castro. We have Mark St. Cree, played characters named Dave, and Bryce, played by Rob Yang. Very hoity-toity, very, uppity. You could tell that they've done this several times for whatever purposes, for more clout. And then we have our coupling of Judith Light. Remember Who's the Boss? She will always have a very special place in my heart because, again, she's just synonymous with 80s pop culture. But yes, Judith Light plays Anne, and her husband Reed Breeny, who his character's name is Richard. And then we have the people who work the actual restaurant. Peter Grosz, I think. Grosz is our wine expert here. And then our very sketchy, and we don't know if she's where she is. She's almost robotic, but I love that personification that she brought to the character of Elsa, played by Hong Chow. I think she did an excellent job. No, kind of like you can't read her whatsoever. She's just there to do her job as host and provide all the information to the guests. And then, of course, Ann Taylor-Joy, who wasn't supposed to be on this particular guest list. She was a +1 to an obsessed fan, Tyler, played by Nicholas Hoult. And he was actually supposed to bring his girlfriend, and they broke up. So, lo and behold, they're already introduced to high concept because the food has gone so above and beyond. This is what happens with success. You have to constantly be, constantly surpassing the bar that you already set. So, Ralph's character of Chef Slowick, very reminiscent of almost like Chef Ramsay from Hell's Kitchen. I feel like it's just it went somewhere around there. Like what reality-based TV has, how it's bled over into scripted shows and scripted movies. That's what it feels like. And although there is no technical competition, is there really? Because you kind of feel like who can possibly sway this situation once they have a footing of what's happening. All the guests kind of realize that they really are up, sorry to say, Schitt's Creek, and the incentive or the motive, the objective of the movie and that particular night of their fine dining will end in tragedy, in death. So once they all are familiar with what's going on, it's almost like who can try their best to survive and live. You go through a number of concepts of dishes. I mean, hence the title menu. You are introduced to an entree and these high level things. Like he's gone above and beyond the chef to almost point out the ridiculousness of where his success has taken him, that people are so like enthralled with him that they think that what they're consuming is just so like high quality, it's so highbrow, and in reality he's just kind of letting them know how what narcissists that they are. And Tyler is of that world because he is of the Instagram world where, he knows all the ingredients. He's familiar with everything that the chef has involved in every particular dish and how high concept it is, that his date is too dumb to figure it out. But she has concept. Like, she is conscious that he's insulting these people. So that's why, hence, there's a particular plate that is served to them in dipping sauces, but it's just dipping sauces. It's not even, it's called the breadless plate. And it's like, I'm not eating this. This is like an insult. We should have access to food. That's why people eat at a restaurant. But he's just like, oh, you're so lowbrow. You don't get it. You don't get it. Um, to then find out that Tyler is an annoying fanatic. And that's where Instagram has taken, I think, a lot of people, especially when they're in the industry, have pushed fanaticism to an ultra uber high, to the point where the person just is even bombarded with the thought of losing that level of success. So you have to constantly outdo yourself, and that's exhausting. And it also has taken the joy out of his work, his passion of the chef, that he doesn't even feel like cooking anymore. So we go through a number of crazy cookie plates, the ones that really, and I swear this is what I'm saying, I've mentioned on my channel, I loved where you just can't put your finger on what's going to happen next. And the fact that they were able to do on their menu, they had a particular taco, and well, I think it was empanadas, and then the empanadas had some kind of sketching, of course, introduced technology even into food, 3D printing of all of the guests' dirty sins. It was amazing. It was amazing, even with those like Bitcoin guys that I was telling you about, and how they were committing a federal crime, fraud, and it was printed out into their tortillas. And they're like, what is this, and how did you get your hands on it? And they nearly interrogate the host, Elsa, and she's like, these are tortillas. That she just kept going on and on explaining what it was. And it's like, we know what it is. How did you get this? How did you get this? Like, there were like these actual documents just etched onto the tortilla. And then she was like, the chef never reveals his recipes, but she was very detailed of the crime that they committed. It's like, we can shut you down. She was like, no, that won't be necessary. And again, very stoic, very like no sense of empathy, nothing. It was just very frozen and scary. So I loved her. I loved how she came across in this film. Anna quickly realizes that this is a heaping mess of crap, and she doesn't want to die. So she does nearly everything to kind of like see if she could get off the island, the island of terror. And there are instances where, the males are even given an opportunity to like run, but for heaven's sake, they know every square inch of that island that wasn't going to happen.